Hey guys, Jake Burns here with the Bigger, Better Biz channel, and I want to share a few things about email results with you and why they matter, and certainly some things that have changed even over the last couple of months. All right, so let's jump in. I pulled up a recent email that we sent here at Bryan Caplan Marketing, and don't worry about the results so much for this particular email. More so, let's look at what some of the numbers are and what they mean, and kind of how we can use it in Constant Contact. So, first things first, opens. Now, opens used to be relatively reliable. Okay, it wasn't perfect. It's never been perfect, but open rate has now become less relevant and certainly less reliable. And why is that? It's because of Apple. So Apple released an update back in the fall of 2021. And because of that, it has made the open rates, let's just call them bloated. They've increased the open rate because Apple is showing that something opened when maybe it wasn't opened, and there's no real way to find out whether it was correct or incorrect. You can read more about it, and we'll include the link here in the description below. Some good information about this new Apple privacy protection and why it matters. But a lot of things that related to email opens, such as maybe your recent and non-opens, A/B testing. They have a couple other things in here. Automated email series that act because somebody didn't open or did open. Some of these things are less reliable. Now, can you still use them? Of course, you can still use them. They still go to people who probably didn't open an email. It just won't be as quite of a larger a list as it was in the past. But just as far as deciding what you're doing with your marketing, some of these things are less reliable than they used to be. Just a good note to put in there. Next thing we have is the number sent. So we sent about just 6,000 emails. We had 102 bounces, which that is something that in Constant Contact will want to go and clean. It's getting a little up there. So I would click on this and I'd follow the instructions, but hey, that's for another video, so don't worry about that. So we had about 6,100 emails that went through. A huge open rate on desktops, which is good to know. So when you're building your emails, if most emails are being opened on desktop, well, then you know that you can build some more emails to desktop. Now, again, that's not 100% reliable anymore because of what we talked about with the opens up here and Apple, but still gives you a general idea. Next up are clicks. This is probably the new main metric that matters the most across all emails, because it doesn't matter, if everybody opened your email. If nobody clicked on it, well, it probably wasn't very effective. So we like to look at clicks as one of the most important things. And in Constant Contact, the way to see what people clicked on, see 48 clicks, you can click on that right there, or you can scroll down and you'll see here are all the different things in an email that people clicked on, how many times they clicked on it. So in our case, this was the most important main thing in the email. And then we had a few events that people were looking at as well. So we can see what events are popular and what events were less popular. Good to know, right? And then based on the engagement, which we think is a much more important metric, we can then determine what types of content we're going to use in the future, how much of that content we're going to add, and certainly how we're going to change content as well. Content is king, and we say that in like every video. You probably get bored of hearing me say it, but it is true. Content is king, and the kinds of things that you have are really important. Next thing up, did not open. Again, that goes along with the open rate. Probably not as relevant as it used to be. 4 unsubscribes, pains me. They didn't love my content, but it happens every time. Happens to all of us, not a big deal. Sometimes people move, sometimes they didn't get what they were expecting as far as your types of emails. Maybe they came to, in our case, an event, and they're no longer in business. Who knows? Could be a million different reasons. If you want to know, you can click on and find out who those people are, and then try to follow up and find out what happened. Spam reports. This is somebody who thinks that maybe we're just sending them too many emails. A lot of times that's what happens. We didn't really spam them because we've never spammed anybody. It's not what we do. But it's something to look at. Again, if you have a high number of spam reports, well, there's a reason. Why is that? And it's something to look into. Again, so when I look at results, the most important thing I look at these days, and this is June 2022, in case you're looking at this, in a couple of months or 6 months or a year or something, the number one and most important thing are clicks. So analyze your clicks. How many people clicked on in the email? What types of clicks do you have? And then after you've done that, go to the heat map in Constant Contact. I mean, you can probably see it when you look at the other links as well, but it makes it really easy to see where do people click. And look at that. They clicked on my link. That makes me feel so good about myself. All right. They also clicked on Bryan's events, of course. Very important thing that we do here at Bryan Camp Marketing. Bryan does tons of growth Google events. Love to see you at one of those coming up in the future. And obviously those are the most important things. The events, the main call to action, which is kind of what we focus on in the emails. And so this makes sense. And it ties into how we're going to promote emails in the future and the kind of content we're going to send in the future. So anyway, I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you have any questions, email me at jake@Bryan, Bryan, Caplan, Caplan.com, and I'll see you next time.